Hey, what is going on the YouTube? This is the Gaming Guy, and today I'm going to be going over the news or the information or pretty much the mock-ups and everything for what we should be having on week 10 or should expect during week 10, which is going to be the North Face collaboration or the North Face statue series collaboration. Yeah, so like I said, all I'm going to go through today are going to be the mock-ups, the leaks, the pictures and everything that we've pretty much seen. Then I'm going to compare them to the previous collaborations that we've had, look at the retail prices, look at the estimated resale that we could possibly have in general, and that will pretty much cover it. Fortunately, I did cop the Fall Winter 17 mountain parka, so there's no Gore-Tex or anything with this collaboration, I believe, or so far as I've been told. So yeah, with that in mind, the prices should basically be the exact same as during Fall Winter 17. So without further ado, let's get into this. So firstly, we are going to be going through just the mock-ups and things that we have had for this collaboration. Obviously, it was called the Statue Series, or it's going to be called the Statue Series. There are a couple of different items that are going to be released as per norm. Anything that I do talk about or any place that I sort of use as the information or different things for this will just be linked in the comment section and in the description. So for the items that we're expecting, they're going to be basically like the bog standard ones of the mountain parka, the Bolturo, the hoodie. This time we're going to get a tee, which we normally do get tees, but sometimes we don't, but we should be getting a tee, a 6-panel, a waist bag, a backpack, and possibly some more pieces. So obviously with it being called the Statue Series, it is going to be based around the Statue of Liberty. Now obviously the significance of that in America compared to EU is vastly different. Like, it's just a massive difference. So in New York, for my expectations, this piece is going to be highly sought after and just highly wanted. However, compared to EU, it's not going to have the same sort of meaning in my view that it would have in, say, New York compared to London. That's not to say people still won't appreciate it or want it, because personally I do really like the black colorway that is going to be coming out. Moving on to the colorways, obviously as you've seen the mock-ups and everything that we've seen in general, they're going to be 3 colorways, being red, black, and then yellow. Now personally for me, I'm more of a fan of just the standard black colorway. The yellow and red aren't bad, but they're colorways that for me personally aren't really the strongest. In my mind, they're a tiny bit out there, and they're not really as decent as I would have hoped for them to be, because obviously this has its own print over it in comparison to other collaborations that we've had with North Face, where they just have a specific theme and maybe just a couple of different colorways. This is a bit different. Now firstly, I just wanted to go over price points. Obviously part of the screen, or a majority of the screen, is going to be blurred at this point in time because I am just going to be searching up my mountain parka in my emails from my shop order that I had with Supreme. That is going to be the metal one, so we can start off with this one. Actually, this one isn't bad. So this is the metallic mountain parka that I copped during, I think it's spring summer 18 is when it released. This one, as you can see, the price was £368, so it was 373 overall. And then going on to the other shop order for the Fall Winter 17 mountain parka with the mountain design to it, it was also £378, which came out to 383. So personally, in my mind, the price point, it should be 378. They shouldn't really have a reason to change that price or make it any different, and that's what I'm hoping that they stick to. Now I wanted to just briefly go through the previous parkas and also then go through some of the other jackets that have had a design to them or a specific look to them, because there haven't been a lot that have been released that have a whole design or a design to it. I've also seen that the design is meant to have, or for this Statue Series, it's meant to be like an all-around, so there's meant to be a design on the front and on the back. I don't know whether that is specific to the parka itself or if it's just exclusive to that, or whether it's available for all of the pieces. But obviously, like I said, we're just going to go through the parkas. So obviously in 2013 you had the 3M parka that was released. Currently its price is not doing too well. When I had this piece, which still had its tags attached, and it was like an 8 out of 10, I was literally only able to get about £30 above what I paid. I believe I paid about £380 and was able to sell it for like £415 or £420, and that was about it. Obviously with it being 3M, the only colorways were black or red, and yeah, that's about it. Now I'm moving on to 2014 to go on to the bandana parkas or the bandana jackets. Obviously probably some of the most popular at this point in time, which were available in 3 different colorways. They also had a lot of different things that were released with them. But yeah, you had red, navy and black. These do feature an all-over design, but I would say it's more of a pattern in comparison to what I'm on about in the sense of a design. When these were released, they did not do well at all. I don't know how many people actually know like how well they did, but they didn't sell out instantly like most do nowadays. They actually sat for a bit of time and then they obviously sold out, and then over the last 5 years they've gone into like superstardom and everyone wants them. But yeah, currently I think for like dead stock on StockX, they're like £2,500 to like £4,500 depending on the size, and yeah, it's quite insane, but that's what happened. Then obviously onto the final parka is obviously going to be the mountain parka with this design. Obviously then there are the 2018 and 2019 parkas that were released, but we'll get onto them in a bit. I was able to cop 3 items during this drop. I had a live cop, which I might still have the original footage of. I can't remember, but I'll have to go through all of like my files to see if I do. If I do, it will be on screen. Yes, I got it! But yeah, I was able to pick up this parka as well as a couple of other pieces. It did sell out in a decent-ish time, but not in comparison to like the last 4 seasons of North Face collaborations. For me, I was fortunately able to cop it, but I don't know if this was released in like this sort of season or last season or something like that. I think it would have gone a lot faster than it did, just purely because the design is a lot better in my view in comparison to what they have released over the last couple of seasons. Now, I mentioned that the statue series is going to be one of these pieces or one of these releases with North Face that features a actual design or print to it. Not in the sense of the bandanas like pattern, but I mean like a literal picture or something included to it or included on it. So obviously with the mountain parka, that is the most sort of recent one where we have had a image or a graphic to it being a literal mountain scene. Prior to that, you would have to go to 2016 when they released the leaf nuts, which had obviously leaves on it. Before that, it would then be the Maps jacket or the Maps coach's jacket that was released with the world map on it. Then obviously in 2013 you had the fur print or the fur nuts. Before that you did have the Venture, and the Venture and the Maps are very similar, but I think that these are sort of like the bandana. The Venture, Maps and bandana all have a sort of pattern print to it, which is completely different to the whole sort of like picture or design that I'm going on about. You obviously have the leopard, but still that comes under the same class. And yeah, before that you have to go all the way back to the Summit series with the Night and Day Summit that had another sort of design to them, which is similar to the Maps and the Venture, but more along the side of what I'm talking about with like the mountain parka and the leaves nuts or leaf nuts that was released. When we're talking about the statue series, there really haven't been a lot of collaborations with North Face that have included an actual picture or graphic to them that is more than just a pattern. There are literally like 2 or 3 that you could probably class under this, and then past that there are probably 4 or 5 that include a pattern or a design to them. So that's why I think it's very unique and it's cool that they have done this. Now I want to go onto the side of resale and how things are selling at this current point in time. So as you can see, these are all of the mountain parkas that you get when you search mountain parka or Supreme mountain parka on StockX. Obviously we have the leather ones, which I'm just not going to mention because they're just horrific, but we're going to go over obviously the ARC logo one that they released, the tinfoil one that I copped, and then the mountain parka from Fall Winter 17. The main difference between all of these, obviously that these have different designs or different styles to them, is the fact that the mountain parka by a long shot, like just massively, is completely dominating this mountain parka market, I guess you could say, in terms of price. Some of them are starting to pick up like the foil looking mountain parka. I remember selling it just for above retail, and nowadays in the size that I picked it up in, it's going for like £600, which is so much better than what it was doing. But that was over the time frame of a year and a half that it has taken to get to that point in time. Whereas almost instantly the mountain parka was doing extremely well and has stayed at a sort of stable price of above like £700. Currently, if you go onto it and click buy, for instance, as you see, these are the lowest asks that people have. They're all above £1,000. If you go on to sell, even at that, the highest bids are all above £1,000 as well. And when you look at the graph when it originally came out, as you can see, it was just instantly up near the £800 to £1,000 mark, and even higher than that. And since then, it has been pretty stable and has stayed at that sort of price point. And yeah, it hasn't really been affected by anything. So obviously with this mountain parka, it was doing 2 to 3 times its retail, and even now it's still doing 2 to 3 or more times its retail. There haven't been a lot of sales, as you can see as well. It's only had 274 sales, which is really not a lot at all. When you compare that to the metallic mountain parka, which has had nearly 500 sales, it's a complete difference. And yeah, just because of the style to it or the design to it, I think it really affects the price a lot. And personally for me, with this statue series, I could see it easily doing, say, straight away £500 to £800, and then staying at that sort of price point. I don't know how limited it is going to be in each size, style, and whatever they release, but hopefully we have a decent shot at picking up at least one, because I would like one for the personal for once, because I had this parka obviously and it wasn't my size, and I wasn't really willing to trade and lose money out to, you know, get another one. But this time around, I'd really like to keep and have one and wear one. Obviously also just looking at the ARC series that was released as well, the prices aren't bad. I mean, they're still about £500 or £450, but in comparison to the retail, which was the same as normal of nearly, like, nearing the £400 mark, it's just nothing special. And yeah, overall, unless it's a size small, it's just not going to make a difference what you get with this specific series. But yeah, for me personally, I think it's just going to be a really cool collaboration. Obviously, it wasn't released for week 9, just down to the pure fact that the San Francisco store was opening. They were doing a Clark's collab as well, so I don't think they would have thrown in another collaboration just to stir things up. Overall though, it would have been cool if it did occur, but this time we're going to get it for Halloween. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Halloween. I've got some plans for like a scenery and stuff, but in general I'm just hoping that I can pick one of these up to wear, because I am planning to go to New York during January, and I'd like to get a picture, you know, wearing it with it in the background. I think that'd be cool, but you never know. I'll probably end up taking an L and have to get something else, or just not get anything at all and just wallow in sadness. But yeah, that is going to cover the video. Let me know your thoughts down below of what you think of the statue series, whether you'll be going for any of the pieces, whether you'll be avoiding the like massive hitters of the Balturo and the mountain parka and go for something like the tee or one of the bags instead that are going to release. But obviously we'll get the news update on Monday morning, and yeah, I'll be covering that as per norm to see if the mock-ups should be identical, or they will be identical to pretty much what is being released. But that is going to cover this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, like, much appreciated. I didn't cover Palace yesterday because I was looking at the tee, I had it in my car and everything, and I just didn't bother checking it out because I wish the design had been on the back for their Halloween release, but that happens. So yeah, that's it from me. I'll see you on Monday for another video, which should be North Face again, and yeah, peace.